Hey all, Lawrence from Express Unity, and today we're going to be starting a new multiplayer project. Now, I was going to continue the multiplayer FPS project, however, after coming back to it, after I think it's been like a month, I wasn't too happy with a lot of the code there, and so I kind of just felt like kind of starting again, but jumping ahead to the network code. So I did say in Discord whether you guys wanted me to make a kind of like a survival type game. So it's gonna be kind of like Rust, if you've played that game. So basically it's all about building, finding resources, getting a clan together, and basically just raiding other bases. So that's gonna be the basis behind this game. However, we're making a more minified version of it, a simplified version. So, what I've already done is I've already made my playfab connection and registration and login stuff. This UI that I'm using is from a game that I stopped working on, so I'm just reusing it for this. If you guys wanted this UI, then yeah, just let me know and I'll probably just chuck it in the Discord for you guys to use. It's just some very simple like boxes and just exit button and OK button. Nothing too overly complicated. And then the font I'm using for it is called Subscribe. So the first thing that we want to do here is set up our master scene. So I've basically got a scene here called master. So I'll just quickly show you. So all this registration and stuff, it all works. You can register or you can log in. I've currently just got the test. Whoop. Oh, internet is not going too well. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's back. Alright, let's try that again. There it is. Alright. So, basically it just says welcome back test. But once we go ahead and code a bit in our master scene, we'll get it to switch over to the master scene. So the reason why I'm not doing or showing you guys playfab again is because very little has changed with playfab. It's all pretty much the same. So just go look at one of my pre-existing playfab login and registration tutorials and just basically get up to completing it and switching scene after you get into login, and that's basically where you'll be up to here. Alright, so basically just create a new scene. I've named my master and double click it and open it. So I do need to apologize in advance. It has been, I think, around a month, so my photon skills are a little rusty. Probably going to be relearning most of what I was teaching myself. So I'm just going to create a new empty game object here, and I'm just going to call it, I don't know, photon manager. Then I'm going to create a new script, and we are going to create a new folder inside the scripts folder called networking. And inside of this, we're going to create a new script called photon manager. And we're just going to drag and drop that in there. Oh, gotta wait for it to compile. Come on. Alright. So let's open this up. Now, the first thing we want to do is be using photon, and then using photon.pun, and then we want to be inheriting from, I think it's mono behavior pun callbacks. Yep. And so in our start, what we're gonna do is, first off, let's go here and create a new public string, and this string is going to be our region. So and I might actually default this to AU. So in our start, what we can do is just say photon network dot connect using settings, and that will be fine. Now, there is, I think, still something wrong with Photon 2, because if we go into, if I can find where it is, where is it? Real time? No, it's not there. Just trying to find it. There's a lot of resource folders. Okay. Alright. Yeah, we're just gonna skip through that because it's gonna waste a lot of time. But basically the folder that, or the file, sorry, that has all your Photon settings, and then it has the region that you can select. For some reason, when you use connect using settings and then change the region in that file, it doesn't actually change correctly and you end up getting some kind of error. So what we're gonna do is basically create our own settings file within the Photon manager, and that seems to fix up a lot of the problems. So the first thing we want to create is a new server settings, and I'm just going to call this settings. We're then going to make that equal the Photon network.photon server settings, and then with this we can just go ahead and use settings dot what was it? Was it fixed? No. Oh, .app settings .fixed region. That's it. And we should be able to just make that equal to our region. Alrighty, cool. So that is pretty much it. So we are just overriding our current Photon server settings with our own region, and that should fix it up. So basically now what you can do is just go to the Photon documentation, see what regions are available. I believe they are all lowercase, so there's, I think, US as well, and EU is one, I think RU is one as well. But pretty much just use the region that's closest to your country for now. You can also create pretty much an array of regions, and then you can allow the player to choose their own region. But for now, I'm just going to fix it to AU. And that should be good for the connection. So as soon as we switch to this scene, we attempt to connect to Photon. Alrighty, so now we need a public override void. And this should be unconnected to master. And that's all good. We can do something like debug.log. We are now connected to Photon. And then that should be good for now. So in my playfab handler, so this is some script that I've pretty much written up, almost the same as what I did with the FPS tutorial, except I've kind of expand upon it a little bit. So when I do the coroutine and start it, I then have a whole bunch of callbacks that this will actually fire. So for example, if the registration succeeds, if the registration fails, or if the password is a mismatch, basically all these functions will be called if one of those events happen. Same with the login, I have login success and login failed. So on success, basically what I want to do is switch to this scene. So we should be able to just say scene manager, scene manager dot load scene, and I'm just going to load it by the name, which is master. Fantastic. So we'll let that compile. And excuse these warnings in the console. I've been trying to figure out what is giving me these warnings, because I did copy and paste basically the current alert system code from another project, so it has to do with that. But as to where they're coming from, I'm not too sure. It's not actually telling me where they're coming from, but it shouldn't be a problem for now. Alright, so in the build settings, we need to add our master scene. And we can save that. So we can just test the photon right now by just playing it, and if we get the debug message, there we are. We are now connected to photon. So now let's just test that our login works. And I'll actually show you guys the whole process, so I'll make a new account here. So if we go OK, once it registers, it says welcome test 123, your account has been created. We go OK, and then it directs me into the login scene. So we can just basically put in the password there and go OK. Guess that doesn't want to work. Let's just try doing it here. Okay. Well, that worked. I don't know why the other one didn't work. Maybe that has to do with the warnings that are coming up, but as long as one of them work, that's all good. But we are now connected to Photon. The login error, no big deal, as long as it still works. It shouldn't affect you guys, because you guys will be using one from the tutorial. But I've basically just hacked and slapped this code into this project where it doesn't belong. Okay, so in the master scene, we are going to create a we'll create a UI. So what we're basically trying to achieve here, I'm not sure if there's going to be any game modes in this one. Basically, the objective for this is to show how to synchronize multiple objects, how to synchronize building, stuff like that. Another thing is, I'm going to make it so the island that players spawn on is going to be completely randomly generated. So I want to show you guys how I would go about synchronizing something that's completely random. So when it comes to spawning the island, we're going to be taking that in steps. Basically, I'm going to be, for the next video, probably modeling a whole bunch of models. So we'll have the first layer as like maybe the sand. So I'll model a whole bunch of like sand planes, and then above that there might be, I don't know, some kind of like gravel or dirt. So I'll model a whole bunch of random dirt planes. Above that maybe grass, and then a whole bunch of rocks and mountains and stuff, and then after that trees, and then maybe a few items. So we're basically going to take the generating the island in steps. And then after we've got the whole generating island, we'll basically show you how we can synchronize it. So the first thing in the canvas that I want to make, like always, is some text that basically tells our connection state with Photon. So put that, I guess in that corner will do. We'll go best fit. Make it bold. Make it white. And we'll give it an outline, like I always do, because outlines are the best thing ever. That's actually a really thick outline. That outline looks terrible. Let's make it smaller. Alright, that'll do. So this is basically just going to have something like connection and then blah 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 blah. So might expand this out just a tad. Actually, it's probably a bit too big. We'll make the max size smaller. Yeah, that should do. Okay, so another thing we're gonna do is actually create a new panel, and this panel is not gonna have anything. It's just gonna be a panel. So just remove the component, and everything that we want to add for our UI in the main menu is going to inherit from this panel. So I'm just going to call it holder. The reason why we do this compared to what I was doing before is we're trying to make, you see how the connection kind of disappears? We're trying to make it so everything it should be able to run on all screen sizes. So if we click on this text here, we have these anchor points. Now that we are parented to the holder, we basically want to change the anchor points so it fits where the entirety of the text area is. So now if we go back and we scale it, you can see, oh it does kind of disappear in a smaller screen there. So we should be able to fix that with the min size. So maybe make the min size 5. And so the text should scale down. There it is. That's really small. You're probably never going to get a screen that small. But basically that's how we can do it. And then again, we could do max size 80 just in case there's some overly large screens that are using it. But, you know, that'll do for now. So that's basically what we need to do for any UI object. So if we make a button, we need to make sure the anchor points are around where the button is. Alright, so I'm just going to call this text connection state. And we are just going to go into the photon manager. We're going to say using, not that, we want to be using Unity engine.ui. And now we want to say public text, and we'll just say connection state. Let's say connection state UI. So in the update, let's go ahead and say connection state UI dot text is equal to photon network dot now this is one that I can't really remember what it's called, so I'm just gonna browse through all the functions here and see if I can find something that resembles what I'm trying to do here. Network client state directly provides network level client state. I don't think that's what I want. Maybe it is. So maybe that is. Alright, we'll try it. Dot network client state dot toString, I think. Actually, I want to do this first, so we'll just add text in front of that. Connection. Alright, so let's just try it out, see if that is what I'm looking for. Yep, okay, cool. So that is what I'm looking for. Still scales, it does get really blurry down there, but like I said, the probably never gonna ever get a screen that small that plays this game. Alrighty, so we have a connection state. We've basically set up all that I wanted to set up in this video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna model a few of the island props, and then we're going to start on the basically first we're going to start just spawning the player in like we usually do. So I'm also going to be getting a few models in, and then after we just get our players to spawn in normally and we can see each other walk around and stuff, Then I'm gonna work on the basically syncing up the island. Alrighty, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.